Welcome to RoxTalks. My name is Roxanne Wilson, and this is the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on Instagram. And today we are talking to Online Drea, also known as Andrea Jones. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear from Andrea because she's going to just impart some social savvy wisdom. Yes, she is from the Social Savvy podcast, host of that. Let me tell you a little bit about her before we bring her on. She's fiercely committed to helping businesses and podcasters build profitable communities online through a simple social media solutions. She's been featured in places like HubSpot, WordPress. She's also been named one of Social Report's top marketers to follow in 2019. And as the host of the Savvy Social podcast and creator of the SavvySocialSchool.com, she's dedicated to simplifying social media through easy to follow courses, professional guidance, and community support. Outside of teaching and training, she spends most of her time serving her full service clients and practicing what she preaches by implementing organic social media strategies for businesses and brands that want to grow an engaged audience online. And today, she's on RoxTalks, and today we're really going to break down how to do relationship marketing. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Also known as, or can be related to, attraction marketing. But she's going to give you some real practical tips on how to implement this. And what I love is that for those of you who are going from a place of, I usually just post about my business, that's all I post about, and maybe one post about my dog and then my business again, she's going to give you some practical ways of how to transition into more of the, literally the attraction relationship marketing. So we're going to dive right in. I know you're going to enjoy it. Let's take a listen. Welcome to RoxTalks. I'm Roxanne Wilson, and we have Andrea Jones, also known as Online Drea. I'm here with us today. If you've not listened to her podcast, you should probably turn it on. What are you waiting for? And you probably heard her with me because she was at the summit last month. Thank you so much, Andrea, for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was a no-brainer. I'm just glad you said yes. She said yes. She said yes. You accepted my rose. Sorry, I've been watching Little Bachelor lately. So there's that.
I love it.
I can't say that I do love The Bachelor, but we get sucked in every so often. And just for listeners, we are literally recording this on the 26th of February. So if you can imagine, some of you are in the middle of the summit, and The Bachelor's getting interesting, all those things. That's where we are. But we're not necessarily here to talk about The Bachelor. Maybe we are. Maybe we are going to talk about romantics. But Andrea, I'd love to talk to you because you're such a guru about how to be savvy on social. And so I'd love to talk to you about how to do that. Network marketers, we've got this thing, we want to sell this thing. And it's like, you've got this thing. It's almost like, have you ever seen Austin Powers? I know this is like dating me. So if you haven't, it's okay. But there's a scene where there's this guy with a mole, and he's told, don't look at the mole. It's like, moly, moly, moly. He's not supposed to mention it, but he can't help himself. He's like, moly, moly, moly. I feel like network marketers are like that with their product. Like, oh my gosh, don't talk about the product. Talk about the product. So how can we get out of that? Or do you see that, or is that just a network marketers thing? Is that everybody?
I think it's everybody. Anyone who has a business or a product that they love. I mean, it's impossible sometimes to not want to be a little bit obsessed about it, right? Like we love what we do, and we're just so excited to tell other people about it. And we know their lives are going to be changed too. So
Right.
that's the other side of it, is like, we know this is going to be epic, like really epic. But we do have to kind of tamp it down a little bit. And I love the Austin Powers. I'm like so out of touch with pop culture though sometimes, but I did recently watch You, which I think is very similar. So if you guys have seen You on Netflix, it's like the show where this guy is like stalking this girl and like popping up where she is. And maybe it's a little bit more like You, where like, you know a lot about that person, but they don't need to know how much you know. And you can kind of like, oh, happen to bump into you here, like kind of thing.
Fancy meeting you here, although I planned it the whole time.
Exactly. So it does feel a little bit like that sometimes. One of the things that we can do though is, instead of talking about the actual product so much, is to talk about two different things that the product does. So one of those things will be the pain points or the challenges that people have before they purchase a product or sign up for whatever you're offering. So, what are they struggling with? And then you can also talk about the transformation that the product brings. And you can do both of those things without mentioning the product at all. You're just storytelling, you're telling a story. So, I'll use a random example. Let's say you have a coffee product. So, like the challenges before this coffee product may be other coffees don't taste good, or you're struggling to get something quick in the morning, or you just don't like the options of the flavors, or you need something that just is consistent and shows up at your house when you're ready to drink it. So, those are all the challenges that people have when they have like a regular coffee like routine. But then the transformations after are very similar to that, but on the other side of the rainbow. So at the end of the day, when people go, I don't have to think about what coffee I'm drinking in the morning because I get my favorite coffee delivered to me regularly,
Mhm.
or I have the best flavors all the time, or whatever the case may be, like whatever the benefits are. So if we approach social media from that angle of the storytelling, the challenges, the benefits, it's a lot easier to not just be like, I have this coffee product that's awesome, and here's the reasons why, because sometimes that can come off like a little bit aggressive.
Right. Okay. So there's a few things in there, and I'm picking up what you're putting down. Talk about the pain point. Like I've got a great one. I was addicted. Not addicted is a strong word. Let me go back. I was eating a lot of chocolate covered almonds from Costco, which means you get that big container, and realizing that as I'm sitting here with clients, I'm eating them all, and then I'm wondering why I don't fit into my clothes. And so I decided to do something about it, and now I've lost 20 pounds. So is that a good example of how you would do it?
Yes,
So,
exactly. And I'd really focus in on the chocolate covered almonds because that's such a relatably specific story
mhm.
that the side note at the end, yes, you lost 20 pounds, but like I would bring the people into the conversation. Have you ever had this moment? Tell me what your chocolate covered almond version is, and
Yeah.
like start a dialogue with people.
Ooh, I like that. So take time. So really what you're saying too is that it's not doesn't all have to be in one post. You
Yeah.
can tell this story and bring people along the journey, even though you've already had the story. And I think the hard part about that is we already know where we want to go, so we want to get there. You know, it's like when you're younger, you just want to read the back of the book. Like, just tell me what happens in the movie. I don't want to have to watch the whole movie. You really have to go through the movie step by step.
Yep.
So, okay, let me ask you this though, because I had someone challenge me during a live presentation in the summit, and she said, because this is basically attraction marketing, is what you're basically talking about. And she said, but I get tired of the bait. She's like, I feel like it's a bait and switch because people won't just tell me what product it is. I have to do some searching or ask them. And so I thought that was interesting, another way of looking at it, because I'm all for attraction marketing. I believe in it. It's a lot. It feels clean because it is clean. But what would you say to someone who says, "But isn't that a bait and switch? Why don't you just tell me what it is?"
Yeah. So you are going to mention that, but way less than you think you should. So a good rule of thumb is one out of every five posts is directly talking about the product that you sell,
Mhm.
directly mentioning the name, talking about it, telling people how they can purchase from you because it varies depending on what company you're with, right?
Right.
And it does depend on the company. Some companies don't let you say the name of the product,
Hmm.
but if they do, you really do want to talk about that at one out of every five posts. The reason that we're doing that, the other post as well, is to feed the algorithm. So people, when they see your product post and they want to buy it, they're not going to like or comment. They're going to go buy it. So
Yeah.
if Facebook or Instagram sees people leaving the platform consistently, then they'll actually not share your post as much because to those platforms, you're kind of signaling that your post isn't as important. So
I'm
you
going to
want,
pause right there because that is really important and that's something I don't think network marketers take into consideration. They're like, "Oh, I posted about it and no one liked or commented it on it, so I got to post something else and or I got to take this one down because it's not working." But what you're saying is you're actually leading people off the site to decide if they want to buy it. They may buy it, they may not, but that's why you're not seeing that. That's brilliant. That's
yeah,
brilliant.
exactly. And so I wouldn't get too worried about likes and comments on those posts where you're directly talking about the product because your ask, your what you want them to do isn't to like and comment, it's to go buy the product.
Hmm.
So you do want to mix in other types of posts, specifically getting likes and comments so that they can see those posts where you're promoting something.
So
So,
that Facebook and Instagram don't get angry as well too. Like, you could just hide all of it.
right. And
Yeah,
this
that's
is why video works so well too. If you want to hop on video and tell the almond chocolate covered almond story, for instance, why video works is because people are actually spending more time with your posts.
mhm.
So it's not just likes and comments, it's the time that people spend with your post. So you may see also some people write really long captions. If people are actually reading those captions, then Facebook and Instagram or whatever platform is going to go, "Oh, this is important. I want to make sure more people see this." So it's the same with video. If people are watching your video, they're spending longer on that post than with an image post, then Facebook and Instagram goes, "Oh, this is important," and they just start showing it to more people.
So now that's an interesting concept because I feel like we forget that Instagram, I don't want to call it big brother, but even if it's a written post, they can track how much time you have that post open and you're actively reading it,
Yep.
which is a little creepy,
Yep.
but it's good to know.
Yep, they are really creepy. So even things too, like if you click the see more button. So
Mhm.
you didn't actually click anything else on the post, but if it's a longer caption, you can click see more or read more.
Right.
Instagram or Facebook will go, "Oh, this person's going in, diving on in. So this must be interesting. Let's keep showing it." So all of these public metrics that we see, they're not the end of the kind of metrics that we're trying to go for. They're not our goal. Not always. So think bigger picture when you're looking at if people are engaging with your posts. One thing to look at is impressions and reach. And
Mhm.
both on Instagram and Facebook, you can look at this for individual posts. So keep track of that as well. If you're seeing people, more impressions on your post, so that means more people are seeing it. Even if you're not getting likes and comments, that's still a win.
Okay, let me ask you about that. And that's good to remember. Obviously, well, I guess I say obviously, I shouldn't say obviously. I've lived in so long in a world of business Instagram, I don't even remember what personal Instagram shows you analytics wise. Does it show you all those things?
No, no, you have to have a business account.
So another reason now, I'll tell you, I have clients who say, I don't want to get, I'm like, get a business account, and they do, but then they get sad because their Instagram stories does not go to their personal Facebook stories. It goes to their business or their business page that they haven't fleshed out. So I'd say for those, I mean, I think ultimately the answer is you need to flesh out your Facebook business page. But for those who aren't ready to yet, um, I've just discovered that when you become a creator on Instagram, it will give you those impressions, but then it's also going to send your stories to Facebook personal. Did you know that?
Yeah, yes.
What? So that's an answer, I guess, a short term answer.
Yeah, and the creator kind of version, and they keep renaming these, but the
Mm,
creator version of Instagram does give a lot more flexibility. It's like an in between option.
yeah.
So definitely play around with it and figure out what works for you and for your business.
I mean, it
I've
wasn't
also
meant for you. I'll just say it was not meant for you, but you can use it anyway.
exactly. And I've seen people too just download their stories from Instagram and upload them to Facebook. You can do
Yeah,
that too. There's no rules against that.
absolutely. And so when you said the impressions on your Facebook, again, I don't really look at that on my personal Facebook page. You're talking about Facebook business, correct? Right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
we can't really see impressions on personal posts.
mhm. So it's time to think about your business like it's, oh, I don't know, business, and go ahead and get that Facebook business page going as well too.
Yep, absolutely. Now, I do think in this industry that having a personal page is still a huge benefit.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't just abandon your personal page and go all in on the business page. They
Hmm.
do different things. And I do think that your personal page is a really great way to have that initial connection with someone personally with the goal of trying to get people over to your business page.
I like that.
So it's kind of like a step in that funnel.
Got it. Got it. But you ultimately want them to be on the business page
Mhm.
as well too. Okay. Sorry, that was I had some questions about that, but keep going because this is like rich stuff. This is awesome.
Yeah. So when it comes to building out your posts as well, one of the things that we forget sometimes is to be really crystal clear on those promotional posts how we want people to engage with us. And
Hmm.
this also goes for questions you ask. This also goes for if you post something inspirational, just be clear because if you think about how people use social media, they're scrolling, they're scrolling, they're scrolling, they see your posts, they look at it, go, that's nice, and they keep scrolling. But if you don't say what you want them to do, sometimes you're not going to get that from them.
Hmm.
So a great example is one of my clients sells a product that's all natural product. She's always talking about the benefits, the transformation. She talks about the product. When I did an audit of her Instagram, I said, "You didn't say one time how I could buy this."
Uh-oh, whoopsies. Because it's obvious to her, she knows.
Yep.
So she skipped that step in her head
Yeah.
and in practice.
Yeah. So even if it's as simple as send me a direct message or click the link here or click the link in my bio or search for this term or whatever your call to action is, just try to make it as crystal clear as possible because we're all busy, right? We all have a zillion things that we're doing. And in our heads, if we go, this is cool, I'm going to look at this later, we're not going to look at it later.
No.
So help us out a little bit and kind of lead us to the water.
I like that. That's a good reminder too that you once you finish your posts, you want to look at them like you're a stranger, not like you're you, because that's where you'll find that, oh wait, I just shortcutted that. I didn't tell them every single step. And you have to tell them every single step.
Yep, exactly. And this also goes for like some people like to do like online parties and things like that, or like
Mhm.
Facebook group parties. One of the common mistakes I see with those is not being clear on the where, when, and what. So people will just say they're having this party and they'll even say something like next Tuesday. But if you don't clearly, and it's going to feel repetitive to you. That's it's designed to be that way. But you can't assume that every single person is looking at every single one of your posts.
Right.
One of the business strategists that I follow mentioned this. She'd been talking about her live event for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months. And then she did an Instagram story poll that was like, okay, I've been talking about this for 3 months. Have you heard me talk about this live event? Yes or no? It was 50-50. Even though she'd been talking about it for 3 months, there are still some people who watched her story that day and were like, nope, never heard of this. So you have to keep being repetitive. It's almost like a commercial jingle, right? Like you get it stuck in your head because you've heard it so many times. So think about how you can have the commercial jingle version of your message.
Yeah. So you want to be an earworm, but not just about buy my business, buy my stuff, but an earworm of just like your existence or whatever you're promoting in that moment.
Yeah, so people start associating you with this idea, not the product, but the
Mhm.
transformation that the product brings, right? Because most times people don't remember the name of the product, but they go, oh, you have something for weight loss? I'm looking to lose weight. That's what you want to be known for, not the name of the product. So
Mhm.
think about that transformation that the product helps bring, and that's really what you want to be known for. I follow someone. I'm trying not to mention like brands names, but I follow someone who does a dieting. I don't know how to put this. A dieting service.
Journey. Okay. Service. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So journey is a good word. Where she's always posting these pictures of how to have meals. They're side by side and they're almost like dupes. So, like, if you want to have spaghetti, try having zucchini pasta instead and like just swapping it out. And I love all of her posts. I don't even care that she's selling something because it's so informative. It's like, just a simple side by side instead of, wheat pasta, have zucchini noodles. I'm like, yes, I love this. I'm always liking it. I'm always saving it. I'm more inclined to share it because she's showing up and providing value. And I know her for that.
Well,
Um,
I'm sitting here going, okay, has she tried zucchini noodles? Because they're so hard to not get soggy. So that's what I really want to know how she figured that out. But okay.
that's true. See, that's a post idea. I love that.
It is. What I like about what you're advising to is this. It allows people to be branded for their brand as opposed to be branded for the actual product. So like, and let me say that again, allows them to be personally branded. Like, oh my gosh, Roxanne is telling me about weight loss and getting rid of those chocolate covered almonds. Not she's trying to sell me this like Slim Fast or whatever it may be, so that you can take your brand and you can do whatever the heck you want with it because you haven't branded yourself as the company. You branded yourself as you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do feel like that brings people in more. So your people are going to buy from you because they like you, just plain and simple.
Mhm.
So if you can show up with the likability factor, the it factor, whatever you want to call it, you're more likely to be successful because people like you. So try to figure out how you can be helpful to them. How can you be useful to them? And that will help you get them to that next phase, which is the decision phase, and is where they will buy the product.
Nice, nice. Get them to like you, which shouldn't be that hard because I'm sure you're all very likable people.
Yes. And the easiest way to do this is video. If you are comfortable on video, it's just so fast to put out content. You don't have to be polished. No one is. No one's perfect. We're not looking for like Oprah level production, like her Super
Would
Soul
be nice.
Sundays. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be nice, but I honestly think that with the business that we're in, it's actually better not to have a full on production because
Amen.
people want to see themselves in this scenario. My mom, for instance, works with a travel network marketing company, and her biggest perk is that she shows her pictures when she's traveling. People, anytime she posts like the pictures that they send, like of the cruises or the whatever, nobody likes those. People
Thank
are always liking and commenting with her, and I had to teach her how to do selfies because her selfies, the angles, we're working on the angles, right? But people love that, even if it's blurry, even if it's dark, even if it's whatever. People love that because it's her enjoying her life, and it makes her audience feel like they're connected to her and that it's possible for them because she's a normal person. They're normal people too. She's not a celebrity or an Instagram model or whatever the
right.
case may be. And so that's why she can attract people. She can build up that trust and she can help them with their trips.
I love that. So many good nuggets in there. There's a reason reality TV, which they thought was going to be done within like the year, is now going into 20 plus years of reality TV. We like to see people like ourselves. We also like to go, oh, she's crazy. I'm not as crazy as I thought I was because look what she did, which is totally fine because they're going to keep watching you and they're going to know, like, and trust you. But also, I love that about your mom because we get into that thing of, oh, we're so excited. Our company brought us this amazing image. We have images made by our company. Awesome. Now the products look so good, but they really look one dimensional.
Mhm.
And showing your mom showing herself traveling or someone who's in skincare saying, here I actually am putting on the product or I have it in my hand goes a lot further than here's the picture, the official picture or the
Mhm.
sunset from, the professional person who took it. It makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes we get into the space where we go, "Oh, I posted that once, I can't post it again."
Oh,
You
yeah.
can post it again. Give it some space, like, I would say at least 3 months before you post it again, right?
Mhm.
But if you have something that is impactful, definitely share it again. And I would say that goes even doubly for live video. So you mentioned skincare products, for instance. I
Mhm.
would challenge you, if you have a skincare product, to go live once a week just showing your routine. What do? Do you wash your face? You put on the product? Like, what is it? It's going to look the same every week, probably, but you're going to get different people watching, different questions. You're going to be able to interact with people as you're going through your routine, and you're letting people in and giving them that reality TV moment.
It's so true. When I did skincare as a network marketing business, I did that exactly that. I did it on a story, and I did it in my I did it on IGTV, but I also put it in my stories with my highlights. And I got so much business from people like, I didn't know if it actually worked on my skin, but I saw you doing it, and so I got team members and business from a video that I did showing here's me washing my face. So it is so impactful. I completely agree with that. Where would you recommend people put it?
Everywhere.
Mhm.
everywhere. So if you have a video, you want to post it to stories and in the feed and in IGTV and wherever you can, because different people are watching those different areas. There are some overlaps, like there's some people who are true fans who will watch it, will see it on Facebook and on Instagram, but those are rare.
Those are
Yeah.
your fa
And they love it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find people go, "Oh, I see you everywhere." They don't realize it's the same thing. So keep posting it. It's okay. And if you look, like big brands like Starbucks, they do this. They're posting the same video in the stories. It's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram. It's the same thing. They're just posting it everywhere. So if they can do it, then you absolutely can do it too.
And they do it, and it cost that video that they made cost a lot of money, right? And you might think, well, mine didn't cost a lot of money. Yours did because time is money, and you spent a lot of time on that video. So get its use. I'm loving what you said about repurposing because we are very much a one and done culture. And then we look at our social media and we go, oh my gosh, it takes so much work. But how much are we actually repurposing that we have there? I love that you pointed that out because that saves a lot of time. You worked on that. If it was good, and if it was bad, but you know how you can make it better this next time around, then maybe you should repurpose it again.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned that too, because sometimes we have such high expectations for ourselves that we think it's going to be perfect the first time we do it. That doesn't
Mhm.
happen to anybody ever in the history of time. So you have to keep doing it, and it will get better. So for me, for instance, I always like to say I've been doing video since 2007. I was on YouTube back when it was like really not cool. My friends thought I was crazy. So for me to get on video,
Wait,
it's
in
comfortable.
2007, were you like 12 or something? I'm doing the
I
math and I'm like, wait a moment, that's 13 years ago.
Yeah, I was 17.
You're such a baby.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm a
you know where I
baby.
was in 2007? I was 4 years out of law school. I had already done the Apprentice reality show and I was running around doing something. You were is 17?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. The babes are
I
ruling
know.
the world.
But
Okay.
even then, people thought I was insane. Because I was the only person, like, you know how people now walk around with cameras pointed at themselves doing stories and stuff? Nobody was doing that in 2007. So it was really weird. But I will say, because I was doing that, I feel super comfortable on video. I can hop on live and do video. But 13 years of practice. Okay. So give yourself the time, the space to do it. And if you feel uncomfortable, get a few friends to be on live with you. A
Mhm.
few of your teammates, maybe. You can all trade off supporting each other on live videos and you can be the cheerleaders for each other. So don't be afraid to pull your community in to help you kind of get started with live video because it can feel overwhelming. And even if you don't do live, you can record yourself. I do find that we second guess ourselves even more when we're just recording.
Yes, we do.
So don't let those gremlins get you. But live videos great, recorded videos great. You just have to do it and put it out there and it's you. So there's no wrong thing you can do or say.
How often would you suggest that live videos for someone who's starting, and then what should they ramp up to? What should their goal be for
Yeah.
live videos or videos in general?
I think it does depend on the person and the time that you have.
Mhm,
So, one of my clients, for instance, is a career coach, and she finds live video to be the easiest thing to do.
mhm.
So she goes live regularly on Tuesdays. I think it's like 9 o'clock. Her people are waiting for her video. She's been doing it for over 2 years, weekly every Tuesday. And for her, that works. So you kind of have to play around with it and see what works for you. Weekly is a really good goal. If you want to just get started, just try once a month. Do a live video, talk about what's coming up. If it's, March 1st, go, okay, here's everything that's happening in March. It's spring. If it's skincare, here's what you can do. If it's weight loss, here's what you can work on. Be helpful, start a conversation.
Nice.
Um, yeah, if you're going to do weekly, I do find that some people can get away with like 2 to 3 times a week, but you really want to make sure you have the audience to support that first. So if
Yes.
you're going live and you're not getting more than 10 people come on live with you, then just do once a week. That's great because a lot of people will just watch the replay. And maybe just instead of going live multiple times, try with different times in the week and see where you can get more people to come on live.
I like that you gave it a realistic number, because people may be thinking, if I don't have 30 or 40 or 50 people, then I shouldn't be doing this. And you're saying, go for 10. Go for 10. 10 feels doable, even if you don't do it the first time or the fourth time. Like, I can get to 10.
Absolutely. And more people watch the replay anyways.
Mhm,
So 10 is a
mhm.
good number to have on live too, because you can have like, that's when you start seeing a discussion happening.
Yeah, yeah. That's when it starts to get interesting. Okay, so video is the best way you're saying right now to have that relationship, which makes sense because you are no longer one dimensional. You become alive. And so people feel like you're right there. And you tend to feel like they're right there with you as well, too. Um, in these videos, are you talking about your product specifically, or are you talking around your product doing attraction marketing? What do you recommend?
It's a combination of both. I want you to think about it. If you're doing a 10-minute video, you're only going to mention the product 2 or 3 times. Okay. The rest of your video,
Put timers. It's been 2 minutes. I can say it again. My
yeah,
product.
exactly. But it should fit in, right? So, um, think about how you can have I love the chocolate covered almond story. I think that's great. And I think if you lead in with that, guys, I'm gonna tell you a story about chocolate covered almonds. You have to come and hear this story because it's gonna be funny. And then you can start getting people to engage, tell the story, maybe use other examples. Then you can talk about how the products helped you with that.
Hmm.
And then open up the conversation. What's your chocolate covered almond story? And have a dialogue with people. I think that sometimes we approach this as like we are announcing like a billboard. This is here. You cannot say anything. I'm just here to talk. And if you think about it more of like, I want to have a conversation. What do you think? That'll be a lot more helpful.
That's brilliant.
So,
I'm gonna do the chocolate almonds to talk about the program, even though I'm not like it's not my program, but because they are literally they're still to this day the furthest cabinet away, which is above the refrigerator, is where I put them and said, Roxanne, screw this. You're gonna listen to your friends and join this weight loss program, and I did. So they're still sitting there. So maybe I'll do it like from there, but I'm gonna do it, and
mhm.
I'll tag you so you can see it.
Yes, I love that. And I think it's just so relatable. And we all have stories like this that are relatable. Honestly, we're living it every single day. So,
Mhm.
my chocolate covered almonds is a giant family sized bag of Doritos. Like, who
I
needs
knew
that
you were
many?
gonna say that. Which, if you do, you guys have Costco in Canada?
We have, yeah, we have Costco.
Okay, but you don't go there because you weren't sure about it.
No,
So
because it's just me and my husband. There's no reason to
it's
go.
just me and Scott. But here's the thing: the Doritos bag there is this big, like huge, and it's $4.
Yeah, see, I don't need to know that information. You're gonna get me in trouble.
Sorry, I just thought you should know. Don't go there. Definitely don't go there. But Doritos bags are huge, and it's like cents on the dollar where you get them, where you are, or the Canadian dollar where you get them. So
Exactly. I don't yeah, I didn't need that, but thank you.
you're
But
welcome.
that's my version. So like we live these things every single day. So if you just real and you show up and you have these dialogues, I
Mhm.
think it can lead to so much more interesting conversations. And then when it's time to talk about the product, people can now relate it to their lives.
I love it. That makes sense. And then they want to know more.
Mhm.
But let me ask you this. So let's say we're having this conversation and we're doing this thing, and I'm talking about the almonds and what worked for me and whatnot. When they say, "What the heck did you use?" Do you say it, or because I've also heard the put a one below the here, and I'll contact you, DM you. What would you do in that moment?
I would just say it.
Yeah.
I would just say it. And then I would still ask them like, "Hey, do you mind if I message you after? Because I want to personally recommend like something specific for you."
Hmm.
That could be helpful. But I would just say it. I think that in the industry that we're in, people use that as a tactic. So like,
Hmm.
it's a means to an end.
Hmm.
I don't want you to get too caught up in the tactics.
I like
The underlying theme is like you're trying to help people and this product helps them. However, it gets to them is fine. So in that situation, I would just say the product and then I say, hey, I don't know, Stephanie, whoever it is, I would really love to recommend something personally for you. Do you mind if I send you a message? And then you can follow up afterwards if they're interested. Um,
That's a
like,
nice that's a good place to live for people who are like, I don't know if I want to be totally like undercover. You're not, but when they ask you, you're going to tell them what it is.
Yeah, and the great
Like
news about a lot of the brands that are out there is that people already know what they are and they're excited about them.
that. Mhm.
So, there was a makeup company that I like. I don't know if we're allowed to mention names on
You
here.
can. It's
Okay,
my rules, right? Go ahead. What?
okay. I'm obsessed with Mary Kay.
America, the America. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, but when I moved to Canada, I didn't have a person to go to.
Hmm.
So for me, if someone was posting, like someone I connected to was posting about Mary Kay, I go, oh, good, you're my person now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of these companies are already doing a lot of the legwork for you, and people just want to buy from you because they want to support you and they like you. So I
Exactly.
wouldn't be too afraid about it, mentioning the name. Unless I know some companies don't allow you to do that. You have to follow your company's rules, right? But
Yeah.
if you can, definitely use that brand recognition to do some of the work for you.
You manage. Is your lipstick Mary Kay?
No, it's not.
It's a good color. That's why I was just
Found
wondering.
It's mostly the foundation and the concealer. It's
Well,
like the
your
only
foundation looks
thing.
fantastic. It's flawless.
Mary Kay.
Who knew? Who knew? She's still going strong.
Yeah.
Love that. So you found your person. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, because well, I didn't find them on Facebook specifically.
Mhm.
I actually just asked around for a few people. I'm just saying if I saw somebody posting on Facebook, they would be my person. Nobody was.
Absolutely. Boom. There are Mary Kay listeners right here going, oh man, I could have been her person. But you're right. That's the power of when people don't want to say they're doing something on social media, you have to balance that, which is why you're saying like every fifth, you might talk specifically about what you do,
Mhm.
but you keep it so that it's not everything, which I think is good too, because even though we know that the people that are looking at our posts only see some of them, if they see you're talking about something and they're like, "Ooh, I'm interested in that," they're then going to take the deep dive into your profile, and so they will find it on one of your posts
Mhm.
beautifully.
Yep, exactly. And even just having it as a link like in your profile, so that people do creep. We all do it. We meet someone new, we're scrolling through their posts.
Hmm.
So you want to make sure that you have it in there.
Yeah. So the Linktree and Milkshake are the most common ones that my clients use. Do you have another one you love that's better than or?
I'm a Linktree girl. I love Linktree.
Mhm.
Sometimes we custom build them depending on what your setup is like. I've never heard of Milkshake though. I'm gonna go look that
Oh,
up.
my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. There, I had to do that. Sorry, but you have to check it out. It's quite adorable. One of my clients was like, "Have you seen this?" I'm like, "No," and I saw it. I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." And then I shared it to my other clients, and they were like, "Oh, I love this." So it takes more. It's more creative,
Mhm.
and you have different pages. It takes more time to put together though. So I tell people if you don't want to get all fancy on that page, stick with Linktree.
Okay, got it, got it. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I have to look it up. Absolutely. I like the dance. I saw that. If you're listening to this, you missed her little dance. I'm sorry, guys, but it was good.
Love it.
This has been fantastic. Is there anything else you would add to what we've talked about?
I'll do a little end note about vulnerability and sharing personal things.
That's where I wanted to go next. So take it away.
Because I think there's definitely a balance, and some of us go all the way one way or the other. So some people
Can I
only
stop you for
show,
a second? Can I stop? Because
yeah.
because not everyone knows you yet. Everyone should know you, but you're not Oprah yet. So not everybody knows you yet. So if there's somebody who's listening who doesn't know you yet, um, you have a really like you. I was just talking about before we got on. I respect you so much for a bunch of reasons, but for the fact that you've been vulnerable about your journey with alopecia on your page, and everyone has something that they are hanging on to that they're not sure about sharing or don't know if they should share or they're holding it in their heart. So when you talk about vulnerability, you're talking about it from a very real I've been out there
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, and it's kind of a little bit scary,
Mhm.
especially when it's something personal.
Mhm.
So for me with alopecia, it's all stress related. And I can say that it's stress related, but I don't really talk about why like what stressors I'm having in my personal life. People don't need to know that information.
Mhm.
But the fact that I talk about it and the fact that I can say that this is what's happening to me, a lot of people actually are really supportive. I started posting about it because I knew I'd have to change my look. So I had my cute little afro that I couldn't rock anymore. I mean, I guess I could have with like bald patches, but I didn't want to do that.
Mhm.
So I was switching back to wearing wigs again. And I felt like I needed to announce it. And I didn't want to just say, like, not have a like, not say the reason why, because I do think that's important,
Mhm.
especially when we're building these personal brands, and that is, like, it's a different look. Some people can't even recognize me now, which is funny. So I did a couple of posts about the journey that's going on, and just highlighting the fact that, "Hey, I'm still me, I'm still here. This is something that happens to people sometimes, and we're gonna rock with it, and we're gonna keep talking about it, and it's just part of life." So when you're thinking about showing up on social and like being vulnerable and putting yourself out there, think about the balance of it all. Not every single thing that I'm posting is about my alopecia. I think that would be going to the extreme. And some people do that. They
Mhm.
share all of their dirty laundry and they're not talking about any of the positive things in their life. And
Right.
everyone's life is a balance and a mixture of both. So I do see that sometimes as a trend, specifically with like mommy bloggers lately, where they're like talking about the challenges of being a mom just over and over constantly. And I'm like, but there's some beautiful things about being moms too. Let's have a balance.
Mhm.
So when you're thinking about approaching this, just think about the balance of it and sharing some of the challenge, but sharing the victories as well.
The
Um,
joy.
sh- yeah, let people celebrate with you. Bring them in and let them help support you. Show them what you need, and you'll be surprised how many people come out and show their support. I know I was. I thought this has nothing to do with what I do, really. So I'm gonna post this, and I don't know what's gonna happen. But a lot of people were in the comments supporting me, and
Yeah.
it's just like a beautiful thing to see your community come together like that.
Well, because we love you and your people love you. And I think what it comes down to really is remembering. And everyone listening remembers the people that are following you, they love you. They want to know you. They want to root you on. And showing your humanity and your realness, that there's no greater way of connecting with someone than being real and authentic. And so it's a reminder of that. But I like what you said about like find those boundaries, right? Find those boundaries for you, and live in those boundaries. It's like the dance space. Once you figure out what your dance space is, you got a lot of places to go. You just have to figure out where they are, and then show up for your community and let them show up for you. Trust that they
Yep.
will.
Yeah. And I just to like end note on that idea is again the billboard idea. We're not billboards, we're not commercials. The beautiful thing about social media is that it is a conversation, it is a dialogue. It's not you up on a stage giving a speech, it's you connecting with people one to one. And so if you can lean into that, I think you'll find that social media is just such a great tool to like build up a lot of those relationships.
I love that. That's so fantastic. This has been a great conversation. And can I say again, thank you. You're so giving of your time, not only because you came on the summit and you rocked that, but then you said yes to coming on the podcast as well too. And I know that there are a lot of people who are not only touched by you, but are also becoming savvy and social because you're all about social savvy. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, Andrea. If people want to find you, Andrea, I should say, I want to say Drea because of online Drea. You make me crazy with my words there. So,
That's okay.
but I like it. It's very catchy. Where can we find you?
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, you probably like podcasts. My podcast is called The Savvy Social Podcast. We're everywhere, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just go in the search bar right now, type it in, tap subscribe. But also, I'm on social media at Online Drea. My favorite platform right now is Instagram. So if you shoot me a DM there, I probably will give you a little voice message back.
Hello. I'm sorry. I thought you said popcorn. I'm like, I didn't know we're going there, but I love popcorn. Tell me. And then you said Instagram.
So
Oh, popcorn.
if I did say popcorn, it's probably because I'm hungry.
I'm on my fast right now, so yeah, I'm with you right there. So I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit punchy, but that's just because I'm just not sleeping because of the summit. It's just you can't sleep because people are watching everywhere. So there's that. Thank you so much. Find her online. It will be worth it. Hashtag worth it for sure. And thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to the podcast. I know you enjoyed that conversation with Andrea, and I want to actually slide into, before we go to the tech tip, I want to talk to you about mindset, because I think that our conversation that she and I had about vulnerability is really one that's so relevant for so many of you, because you're trying to balance how do we give an authentic story online, but not feel like we're oversharing or not feel like we're being self-important. And my suggestion for you, because that's going to be different for everyone, knowing the boundaries of what to talk about and what not to talk about, what are on limits and what are off limits, and how you can truly be authentic. My first suggestion to you would be this: know what place you're coming from. If you're coming from a place that feels authentic, then you're probably being authentic. Most people who worry about it are people who are not going overboard, who are not talking too much about one thing. They're probably talking too little or just the right amount. So find a little comfort in that, and then explore and ask yourself, okay, if I wrote these lines, if I said, you know what, I'm not comfortable fully talking about all of the things, but like the example she mentioned, maybe you don't talk about what's causing the stress, but you talk about the result of the stress. You can find ways in just talking about the result of the stress to really open up and really relate to more people than you can imagine. But that also requires some soul searching now, doesn't it? People don't just say, okay, I'm going to be open about something without figuring that all out. So you may literally have to get comfortable with it with yourself before you get vulnerable online and on social and on camera. And that may take some work internally and off camera and off social. My suggestion to you is to not avoid it. Don't say, oh, I'll just handle that later, because your message is a distinct message. You are unique, and someone needs to hear your message. It could be the exact same message that I'm saying, that Andrea's saying, that everyone else is saying, but hearing your personal struggles with it might be exactly, not might be, I know is exactly what someone else needs to hear to inspire them. The beautiful thing about this world and about humans is that we can learn from everyone, not just the Oprahs of the world. We can learn from everyone. And so never think that your message is one that needs to be hidden under a bushel or doesn't need to be heard, because it really, really does. And I hope that you at least put that into the equation when you're trying to decide, is this worthy of me talking on social media, or is this too personal? Remember that you could be touching someone that you'll never know. You'll never know. You'll never see them. They may never tell you. But I promise you that you have touched someone's life and made their life a little bit easier and given them a little bit more of a reason to keep on going. In a world where we feel so disconnected and we see a lot of people struggling from that disconnection, we can use social media to connect. I know that sounds counterintuitive to what you're hearing lately, but you really can. And so use your voice online as one of positivity and one that can help others. And yes, that might mean sometimes you have to get a little more vulnerable than you were planning, but don't step away or shy away from that, because somebody needs to hear from you. We'll be right back with the tech tip. Welcome back to RoxTalks. Let's go right into the tech tip. And my tech tip for you, because around this time, about this time, you are hopefully fully immersed into all things that I love, smart hash for your hashtags. And it's probably about the time, if you're into it, you've been using it for about 30 posts or 30 days, if you post regularly, it's time to start evaluating what you've got there, right? It's those clouds are starting to like really take shape, so they're not all gray. You're probably seeing some oranges, and so hopefully it's orangey yellow, and hopefully some reds as well too. This is a good time to actually start incorporating new hashtags. What? Yes, it's time to rotate. If you remember, if you want to go back and listen to the podcast I did with Chris Allen Lee, the founder of Smart Hash, about 30 posts is a good time where you can look at the data and decide if it's time to switch and try other ones. Also, you want to do that because you're going to tire Instagram out. They don't want to see using the the same tags all the time. So the 30 mark, and I say 30, I don't say 30 days because it could be 30 posts. 30 posts might take you 60 or 90 days. 30 posts might take you 15 days. Not sure, it just depends on the person. Is a good time for you to start to evaluate, reevaluate, and then decide. And then pick some other tags. And if you're saying, oh, how do I pick the tags, Roxanne? Well, you can do the down the rabbit hole search on Instagram. Use the tags you have and see what they suggest. That's a great way to do it. If you are a smart hash user like myself, then I recommend that you also consider diving into the magnifying glass option on there. It's amazing. And it gives you, there's a database of hashtags that people adjacent, other people using it, are using when they use the hashtag that you had just used. So that will really help you. If you don't have Smart Hash, y'all, it's free. It's free. Yes, there's a paid version. I love the paid version, but you can start you can start for free and decide if you like it. The paid version, you're allowed. I told my client this the other day. She's like, "Okay, how much is the paid version?" I'm like, it's so funny because you just never know people's pain points. I said, "Well, it's $20 all in one time." She goes like, "What? That's nothing." And you know what? For hashtag help, that truly is nothing. So you may want to just dive in once you try the free version. You might dive in full on and just grab those hashtags. I will tell you, shout out to Chris. He has my members. He's been giving them some great attention on their hashtags, training and having live trainings with us, and it's been fantastic. Why is it fantastic? Because once you have all the skills that we talk about on the podcast and you're doing the doing, you're doing the things right on social media, by Jove, you want the world to know you're out there. And it's a great time because you have everything in place, but they can't just find you because you're there. A hashtag, they find you with the hashtags. It's a great way for people to find you. And of course, the algorithm and Instagram acknowledges hashtags. So you want to take advantage of those. If you are looking for a great tech app, Smart Hash is the way to go. It's a great app that will help you with it. I've done the figure out my hashtags 2-hour tour, a 2-hour tour, and it takes time, which is not. And listen, I'm not afraid to take time to do something, but I'll tell you that when you do that, and you have to do that consistently, like once a month, that can be very laborious. And 2 hours might have been generous. Some of my clients would tell you, Roxanne, it takes longer than that. They're probably right. So if you can find an app that was created to solve this problem, and I literally can go that if you have a problem, I solve it. My DJ Chris resolves it. I don't know why I went there. I'm into music today, y'all. This is a good roll right into behind the scenes. You've got my advice for your tech tip. You're going to review your hashtags, whether you use Smart Hash or not. After 30, you want to go ahead and redo them, reuse them, reevaluate, and try some new ones. All right, we'll be right back with behind the scenes. Which, no, I'm just rolling right into it. Okay, so here's the thing. You're probably wondering, Roxanne, you're all over the place. I am a little bit. Sleep has been something that is like a commodity that apparently I am not privy to lately, because we're recording this on the 26th. It is day 2 of the summit. You know, I've been working on the summit since September of last year, and it's finally here. It's here, and we're almost halfway through, which is a little bit sad, which is a lot sad actually, but it's been phenomenal. There are thousands of people in it. Even now that the summit has started, I look and I'm like, oh, there's 26 more. There's 100 more people. Oh my goodness. So it's super wonderful. The best part of yesterday, day 1, after I was like, okay, exhale, everything's up, it's working, was getting responses back. Hearing from people say what they love, what they learned, going, oh my goodness, this content is so wonderful. Oh my goodness, Molly Mahoney blew my mind. I love what you and Andrea talked about the relationships and how that relates to social media. I'm following what Megan Summerall said to the T. I'm going to work it that way. I mean, there were so many of those. Helen and Heather with branding, they rocked it. I mean, that's what I got to read. That's what I got to see. And so it was so good. But with highs come lows. And so this morning, first day I woke up at 1:11 in the morning, just popped open, could not sleep. I was like, okay, coming. Everything's going out in 45 minutes. Today, last night, I was in and out of sleep. And then I woke up at like 3:12. And of course, I woke up, and y'all can laugh at me, but I'm sleeping right now with my computer. You can tell me that's bad. But my laptop is literally on my lap. So I wake up and the laptop's right there. I know. That's what I'm doing. So I wake up, I turn it on, I check my email to make sure everything went out. And I'm like, that's weird. There's 2 emails I don't know about. What's that? And then I'm like, oh, I hope that just went out to me. I hope that didn't go out to all of the summit goers. Oh, no, no, that puppy went out to all of the summer, 2 of them that I would not want them to see that were like drafts and like blueprints and like blueprints isn't like, when you start something, it's like, here's the sample. Yeah, that's what went out. Yeah, that was not a winning moment for me at all. I was like, so I sat there. I'm like, okay, well, let's damage control. I'm very much like, if I was going to be a doctor, they'd put me in the ER or they'd put on triage because I'm like, let's fix it. Okay, that happened. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk because I don't even like milk. But what can I do to take care of the damage? And so I wrote an email. Which you think, not another email, Roxanne. You just sent out 3. One you meant to, 2 you didn't. Yeah, another email. Because how else do you do it? So I just said, listen, and I was honest. I said, my bad. It's my fault. I'm responsible. I'll do my best to make sure that doesn't happen again, and I'm sorry. And I sent it. And then I sat there watching to make sure people got it. I'm like, okay, 12 people read it, 17 people read it. Okay, okay. I got one unsubscribe on the sorry email, y'all. Of course I would look at that. I'm like, oh man. But what's really cool is a lot of you wrote emails saying it's okay, Rox, it's okay, not a problem. I'm loving the summit, and that made me feel good as well too. So just in case I didn't think I was human, which believe me, I know I am, I had that moment of humanity. And I tell you that story because that's going to happen to you. You're going to start sending out emails, I hope, if you're not already. And you're going to be doing things, and there's going to be typos that you didn't want there. There's going to be, I could tell you some stories, but this is one day. We'll tell you another one. But you might have typos you didn't mean to have. You might send out an email that you never wanted anyone to see. And you're the CEO of your company. So when that happens, you take responsibility for it, you apologize for it, and then you keep moving onward. And yes, I could sit here and lash myself. I had that moment like my heart, like literally just went, I don't know if it was my stomach. No, it went in my stomach for sure. And I was just like, oh, Roxanne. It was like that moment in Miss Congeniality where I don't remember his name, but the British man is there, and Sandra Bullock is up on stage, and she says a perfect speech about like why she cares about the world. It's like the finals, and he's like, yes, yes, I finally. Her trainer's like, I finally won. Michael Caine, I finally won. And then she's like, and if anybody hurts my friends, I will hurt you. And she starts threatening them, like, and he's like, and then the mouth. And that was, I was like, yay, they're loving the summit. And then Roxanne. It's all okay. We move on. All is well. All right. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you loved it, even if you didn't love it, I would love for you to go ahead and comment, share it with somebody you think would love it. And please subscribe. I'd also love you to do a screenshot and tag me, because I want to tag you on my story and shout you out. Tell me what you learned from it or what you love from it, and I want to write back. You guys are amazing, and you're not ahead, you're not behind, you're exactly where you should be, and I'm thrilled that you're right here with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.